What if I told you that everything you believe about studying longer is actually holding you back, and that the real secret to mastering your exams is not more time, but deeper time, sharper time, and more intentional time that cuts through distraction like a blade through silence, because most students sit for hours surrounded by books, notes, and screens, convincing themselves they are working hard, when in reality their mind is scattered across notifications, worries, and endless mental noise, and this scattered effort creates an illusion of productivity while delivering very little real progress. But there exists a different way, a way that requires courage, discipline, and a willingness to face your own habits, and it begins with understanding that your brain is not designed to sustain shallow attention for long periods, but it is incredibly powerful when pushed into a state of deep, uninterrupted focus, a state where time seems to disappear, and your mind locks onto a single task with precision and intensity. And this is where the 2-hour deep focus method comes in, not as a trick or shortcut, but as a philosophy of studying that values quality over quantity, depth over direct, ion, and presence over passive effort, because in these 2 hours, you are not just studying, you are training your mind to resist distraction, to stay present, and to operate at a level most people never experience. And it starts before you even open your book. It starts with a decision to eliminate everything that competes for your attention. Your phone is silenced and placed out of reach. Your environment is simplified. Your goal is clearly defined, and your mind is prepared like an athlete stepping onto the field, knowing exactly what must be done. Because without clarity, focus cannot exist, and without focus, time becomes meaningless. And once you begin, something remarkable happens. The first few minutes feel uncomfortable. Your mind resists. It searches for distraction. It reminds you of easier pleasures. But if you stay, if you push through that resistance, you cross a threshold into a different mental state, one where your thoughts align with your task, where concepts become clearer, and where learning accelerates naturally. And this is the moment most people never reach because they quit too early. They give in to the discomfort, they return to shallow habits, and they act. The power is hidden just beyond that initial resistance, but you are not here to be average. You are here to discover what happens when you fully commit, when you give 2 hours of your life with absolute focus, no interruptions, no excuses, just pure engagement with your work. Because in these 2 hours, you are not just preparing for an exam, you are building a skill that will define how you approach challenges for the rest of your life. And the question is not whether this method works. The question is whether you are ready to experience the level of focus that most people are too distracted to ever understand. And just when you begin to believe that you have found your rhythm, that you have finally stepped into that rare state of clarity where everything feels aligned and progress feels natural, something unexpected happens. Something subtle yet powerful begins to pull at your attention. Because deep focus is not a place you enter once and remain in forever. It is a state you must continuously defend. And this is where most people fail without even realizing it. Because the real battle is not outside in the noise of the world. It is inside in the quiet whispers of your own mind. The sudden urge to check your phone, the thought that maybe you should take a quick break, the illusion that you have already done enough. And these thoughts do not come as loud interruptions. They come disguised as reasonable suggestions, making them far more dangerous because they slowly chip away at your intensity until your focus weakens and your session loses its power. And this is the turning point, the moment where your 2-hour deep focus session either transforms into something extraordinary or collapses into something ordinary. And the difference is not intelligence. It is awareness and control. Those who master this method understand that discomfort is not a signal to stop. It is a sign that you are approaching growth, that your brain is stretching beyond its usual limits. And instead of escaping that feeling, they lean into it, they recognize it, and they continue forward with even greater intention. And this is where structure becomes essential, because deep focus is not just about willpower. It is about designing your time in a way that supports sustained intensity, breaking your 2 hours into clear segments, each with a specific goal, allowing your mind to stay engaged without drifting, using short, intentional pauses only when absolutely necessary, not as an escape, but as a reset, and returning immediately with renewed clarity, because every minute matters, every moment of attention compounds into understanding, and understanding compounds into confidence, and confidence transforms into performance when it matters most. And as you continue through your session, you begin to notice something remarkable. Your mind becomes quieter, distractions lose their grip, and the work that once felt overwhelming starts to feel manageable, even meaningful, because you are no longer fighting your task. You are fully immersed in it, and this immersion creates a kind of momentum that carries you forward, making it easier to continue than to stop. And yet even here, the challenge remains, because the mind is clever. It looks for shortcuts. It searches for ways to conserve energy, and it will try again to pull you away, but this time you are prepared. This time you recognize the pattern, and instead of reacting, you stay grounded in your purpose, reminding yourself why you started, reminding yourself that these 2 hours are not just about studying. They are about proving to yourself that you can operate at a higher level, that you can push beyond comfort and create results that others only wish for. And as the clock moves forward, you realize that what felt difficult at the beginning has become natural, almost effortless. And this is the hidden power of deep focus. It rewards persistence with clarity, effort with mastery, and discipline with freedom, but only for those who are willing to stay when it would be easier to leave. And as those final moments of your 2-hour deep focus session begin to unfold, something profound starts to take shape within you. Something far greater than just completed notes or memorized concepts, because what you are experiencing is not simply productivity, it is transformation. The kind that happens quietly, but leaves a lasting impact, the kind that shifts how you see effort, time, and your own potential. And when you finally step back and look at what you have accomplished, you realize that these 2 hours carried more weight, more clarity, and more progress than entire days spent in distraction. And this realization changes everything, because it breaks the illusion that success requires endless time and replaces it with the truth that success requires focused time, intentional time, and the courage to be fully present when it matters most. And from this point forward, you begin to approach your studies differently, not as a burden that drains your energy, but as a challenge that sharpens your mind, because you now understand that the quality of your attention determines the quality of your results, and this understanding becomes a tool you can use again and again, not UST for exams, but for anything that demands excellence. And the more you practice this method, the stronger your focus becomes, the quicker you enter that flow state, and the longer you can sustain it without resistance. And what once felt difficult becomes part of who you are, a habit of discipline, a mindset of clarity, a quiet confidence that grows with every session you complete. And this confidence is not built on motivation, it is built on evidence, the repeated proof that you can show up, eliminate distractions, and do the work with full commitment. And this is where true self-belief is born, not from words or encouragement, but from action, consistent, focused, and intentional action. And as you carry this practice into your daily life, you begin to notice its effects beyond studying. Your conversations become more present, your decisions more deliberate, your goals more defined, because you are no longer scattered, you are centered. And this sense of control creates a kind of calm that allows you to face challenges without being overwhelmed, because you know that no matter how complex the task may seem, you have the ability to break it down, focus deeply, and move forward, step by step. And this is the true power of the 2-hour deep focus method. It is not just about doing more in less time. It is about becoming the kind of person who can bring their full attention to what matters. And in a world filled with constant distraction, that ability is rare, valuable, and incredibly powerful. And now the choice is yours. You can return to old habits, to long hours filled with scattered effort and minimal results. Or you can commit to this method, to these focused sessions that demand your presence but reward you with progress, clarity, and growth. And if you are benefiting from our topics, please subscribe, like, and turn on the bell notification so you can see our new videos early.